we're checking out the evolution of some beloved family franchises. Some are amazing and lovable. The other one I might complain a bit because Hollywood sucks these days. But yeah, leave a like on the video, subscribe to Tell It Animated, and let's get into it. Okay, Jurassic Park 2, dinosaurs versus real life. Ooh. I love the dinosaurs, though. I don't care if they're not real.
To another dinosaur island. But how did the Lost World's dinosaurs stack up against the latest science? Let's find out now. Animated. The film's tiny Compsognathus have a long neck and tail, tapered face, and vibrant green colors, although the females are less vivid. Plus, these dinos love an easy snack. Real-life compies had a more horizontal stance, a prominent third finger, were covered in proto-feathers, and like all theropods, their palms faced inward, so no zombie hands. They also could have grown larger than their on-screen equivalents.
They're so much more adorable in real life.
But they're probably not a worrisome threat. Site B's Parasaurolophus has a beige coloring with reddish accents and a more bipedal stance, which is even further off from the bulkier quadrupedal real-life animal. Jurassic Park 2's Pachycephalus.
Yeah, but those parasaurs in Lost World were insane, bro. Like throwing around men while they're trying to tie it down. It was beautiful, dude.
Taurus is brown with dark blue markings, has a striking domed skull with added spikes, and a beaked mouth. The real-life version had a horizontal stance, smaller arms, thinner legs, more prominent lips, and their domes were slightly sloped and possibly housed more colorful patterns. These dinos may have used their thick skulls for displays of defense. The returning Gallimimus.
Yes, but then we wouldn't have gotten awesome toys like this bad boy, which this toy is probably older than a good amount of people watching this video right now. This was a peak era toy. I mean, action figure of science.
Has deeper colors, but still lacks the ostrich-like appearance the real dinosaur possibly had. The Lost World's Mamenchisaurus design has high-placed nostrils, an S-shaped neck, elephant-like legs, yellow coloring with added stripes, and a long tapered tail, although the one that appears on screen is actually a Brachiosaurus from the first film that's been stretched proportionally.
I was gonna say, wasn't it a Brachiosaurus? I'm so confused all of a sudden.
In reality, Mamenchisaurus had a thicker neck, an angled stance, more unique feet, and a possible club-shaped tail tip, while their nostrils were in a lower position and they had a more bulbous nose shape. The on-screen Stegosaurus is green, has large dermal plates, tail spikes, and a prominent beak. The real-life stag was elongated, had thinner appendages with less toes, a downward-sloping tail, fuller lips, and hexagonal scaling. Their plates likely extended beyond their skeletal structure and had possible distinct patterning.
I'm noticing a pattern of filler lips. It seems a lot of the dinosaurs in real life made kissy faces all the time.
Also smaller than their movie counterparts. The film's baby Stegosaurus is...
I hate to pause this so much, I'm sorry, but like in the movie, the freaking Stegos are kaiju, bro. That's another reason Lost World's just amazing. They're freaking huge, like just nonsensically giant.
Stout with a tiny tail, although the real juveniles were likely much longer, like their parents. Interestingly, Stegosaurus had such a small brain that scientists once believed they had an additional butt brain, but that's very unlikely.
Are you serious right now? Butt brains?
The Lost World's female Tyrannosaurus has more splotchy and saturated colors than the original film's T-Rex, while the male Rex has green coloring, facial scarring, as well as a more prominent dewlap and larger nose ridge, although the real, more full-bodied Rexes likely lacked these particular differences between sexes. A baby male Tyrannosaurus is featured in the film, depicted with large prominent eyes, while the real-life juvenile likely had slimmer features, smaller arms, and some soft feathers, making them still cute enough to borrow from their parents. But maybe you shouldn't. The Lost World's pteranodons have translucent wing membranes, blue accents, a bird-like beak, prominent head crest, and a long curvy neck. The real-life flying reptiles were thicker, had flat feet, fur-like pycnofibers, larger upward-pointing beaks, and their wings were less bat-like.
Look at those pectorals, dude. That's one buff creature. Like, that's a very impressive build right there. Wow.
Bat-like. The smaller females had less prominent head crests, while the males likely used theirs to attract their mates. Site B's Triceratops has straighter horns, and its skin appears less brownish. A chubby baby trike is also spotted, although juveniles would have had slender features, an odd head shape, less prominent frills with possible colorful patterns, and their eyes were higher up. Similarly, their parents were far stranger looking than their movie counterparts. JP2's female Velociraptors have colors similar to the original film, while the male Velociraptors are orange with dark stripes and yellow eyes. Although these clever creatures can be taken down by awesome gymnastics, they're still quite—
Why'd you have to remind me about the worst part of the entire franchise? It was such a perfect movie until that freaking kid killed one with gymnastics. Oh god, it was so stupid.
different than their smaller avian-looking namesakes or their on-screen inspiration, Deinonychus. But the film raptor scale is closer to Utah raptors, which were described at the time of the first film's production. So, want us to continue this series? Share this video, press like, and comment to let us know.
I do. It is weird. The whole raptor situation, they're like velos based off Utah is a whole mess of thing. Honestly, a lot of it could be explained by just remembering like only parts of the dinosaur genome was completed. The rest was filled in with random creatures. They've all been hybrids since the first movie, just not like big decked out mega hybrids. So accuracy really isn't an issue for me. Now, evolution to Terminator. Doesn't really fit the theme of today's video, but Terminator is one of the best franchises ever, bro. I need a big Terminator tattoo so bad.
This animation is sponsored by Michael Gibson's Babylon Twins.
Ooh.
The first book in a new apocalyptic series.
That's why my sponsors will never be as good. I don't have animated little dogs talking for me. Talking dogs? I need to set my game up so bad.
The year is 2020. Multiple companies have retained control of the Terminator franchise, and as a result, the timeline has been fractured. With each fracturing, a new batch of Terminators hits the silver screen. Our only hope is to summarize the evolution of the Terminator and make sense of this sloppy franchise.
It is
Skynet
sloppy.
first sends a T-800 to 1984. He sports beige pants, black boots, a patterned tee, and a bulky gray jacket. While he's nearly impenetrable, he can be burned, and as such, his hair is shortened and his eyebrows are singed off. He then wears a leather jacket, gray shirt, and covers up an eye wound with wide glasses. His mission is to hunt down Sarah Connor, the mother of future resistance leader, John Connor. But he is hit by a truck and engulfed in an explosion, revealing his wobbly T-800 endoskeleton that gets blown apart and crushed in a hydraulic press. A new T-800
That's how I want to go out right there.
T2. This one wears leather pants, smaller boots, and both a dark and light gray shirt. His
These smaller boots. I never even noticed that. I gotta rewatch these now.
hair is shorter, and his glasses are smaller. He's been reprogrammed to protect John Connor from the T-1000, a liquid metal Terminator with the ability to form sharp weapons with his limbs and morph into other forms. He's impervious to typical weaponry, but can be frozen and shattered, although he can quickly piece himself back together. Ultimately, he's defeated when blasted into molten steel, with the T-800 following close behind to eradicate this timeline of old Terminator technology.
Over 30 years on this planet, I thought it was lava. It's a steelworks company. I don't know why they'd have lava. I didn't think about it.
Preventing Skynet's inception. T2, Battle Across Time, introduces the early model T-70 with the machine gun arm, as well as the spider-like liquid metal T-1000. But that's just a theme park attraction, so we'll move on.
I was gonna say, what the hell?
Terminator 3, Rise of the Machine, showcases the scooter-like T1s, includes a brief appearance of the T900, and the T800 is back. I mean the T850. He wears a more streamlined jacket, looks about 10 years older, and briefly dons star-shaped glasses.
Looks about
He's
10 years
stronger,
older.
Can
That's
withstand
funny.
heavier firepower, and has a hydrogen power supply, which is prone to explosions. This machine is in charge of protecting John Connor and his future wife from the female T-X, whose endoskeleton is encased in liquid metal and mostly wears a skin-tight red suit. She has an arsenal of armed weapons, can spin her head 360 degrees, identify DNA from a sample of blood, morph into other people, and enlarge her breasts at will. But in the end, she is no match for the T-850's power supply suicide, which allows John Connor and his wife to escape to safety as Judgment Day begins.
That movie got a lot of hate. I'm gonna say it. Peak cinema, bro. John Connor was a ratty little bastard, and the other lady was kind of complainy too, but the Terminators were
The
amazing.
TV series, The Sarah Connor Chronicles, features the smaller T888 models, which make use of a hidden leg compartment to hold their gun, a liquid metal T1001 that can use her extra liquid metal to form pet eels and morph into a fast-moving slug, and the dainty in size T900, sent to protect John Connor. But this show is a whole can of worms, so let's keep going.
Yeah, I don't watch that
Following
either.
Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation showcases the upgraded T1s, the hulking T600s, which wear unconvincing rubber masks and tattered clothing, the smaller T700 endoskeletons, Moto Terminators, and Marcus,
The
a
Moto
human
Terminators,
Terminator
dude.
hybrid, who unknowingly carries a chip that allows Skynet to control him. In a turn of events, Marcus rejects the chip and opts to help John Connor in battle, going so far as to donate his heart to save John's life. In Terminator Genesis, the previous two sequels
Peak
are
movie right there.
entirely
Peak.
ignored. And this time, the T-800 appears older, sports a hooded jacket, and has slicked back hair. In this timeline, he was sent to raise a young Sarah Connor. Together, they take down the original film's T-800 and a remodeled T-1000. Then, after a 33-year time jump, he appears even older and wears a green jacket with blue jeans, followed by a darker ensemble. This film's future also features the Terminator embodiment of Skynet, the T-5000, which infects John Connor with nano-robots, turning him into the T-3000 hybrid. The T-3000 travels back in time to ensure Skynet's survival, but the T-800 forces him into a prototype time machine, which tears him apart, while the T-800 lands in liquid metal, giving him a liquidy upgrade. Taking place after T2, Dark Fate premieres yet another T-800, and this one finally manages to kill John Connor. 22 years later, he's older, sports a plaid shirt, blue jeans, and a slick brown jacket.
I did not enjoy these newer ones. They were a disaster.
He's also grown a masculine beard, renames himself Carl, adopts a family, and is running a drapery business.
What the hell? I didn't finish the movie. That's what happens? Unbelievable.
Dark Fate also introduces Grace, a human with cybernetic alterations who requires replenishment via various drugs to stay in top shape. In this timeline's future, the animalistic Rev 7 model is seen. They have tentacle-like spikes on their back and can split apart, forming an additional liquid metal model. But the main antagonist, the Rev 9, is able to appear human while retaining the ability to split his endoskeleton from himself. Grace, the T-800, and a grizzled Sarah Connor protect Danny, this timeline's future resistance leader.
That's the other thing, Sarah Connor. I mean, we all aged, obviously, Father Time comes for us all, but she looked like she took a peek into, like, Pandora's box or something, or what happened there?
The Rev 9, which gets tossed into a giant blender, is overloaded with Grace's power supply and held down by Carl, disintegrating them both. And now, we just wait until Arnie needs another paycheck for the next reboot to get greenlit.
This is a great video. The Jurassic Park one, I loved it. The Terminator one just kind of reminded me of those last Terminator movies, which were just crazy, bro. What were they even thinking? Either way, I think I got sidetracked a bit. So yes, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more nonsense, and check out Tell It Animated down below if you haven't already, because obviously there's a whole lot of evolutions going on. Ashy slashy. All right, I'll see you guys next time.